And now, in fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived at Manmohan Singh's, Dr. Singh's residence. As you can see, he is paying his tributes and offering the last respects to, in fact, Manmohan Singh at this point of time, to late and former Prime Minister Dr. Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited and offered his condolences to the family. Just a short while back, BJP National President JP Nadda and also Union Home Minister Amit Shah arrived at the residence of Dr. Singh to pay their last respects and tributes. All right, now joining me live on the broadcast is Editorial Director of NewsX, Priya Sehgal. At this moment, very good morning. Unfortunately, in fact, this is a time that we are remembering Dr. Singh and his many contributions that have shaped India's economic growth and policy as well. Ma'am, how do you in fact recall the contributions that have been made by Dr. Singh and most importantly added to how India in fact looks forward today with ambition, and how in fact it sets a par comparison with the other developed nations?
Well, Simran, Dr. Manmohan Singh is the architect of our liberalization policy. He's the one who opened, unshackled the bureaucracy and kind of opened up India. His as finance minister in 1991, it was his budget that and also at that point, it was not something that had been planned or that he was working on it. He was a surprise finance minister. If he's called the accidental prime minister, he was also an accidental finance minister. He was not even the first choice, yet he delivered. And what a budget, he's known for that. I think and it was actually his reputation as a finance minister that made him the first choice for Sonia Gandhi as the prime minister when the UPA one came to power 2004. It's also interesting, as you said, he has put in the pillars of economic growth. He also put India globally. We all talk about how Prime Minister Modi is known globally, but very little is talked about how Dr. Manmohan Singh has a global reputation. And in fact, during crisis like the Lehman Brothers crisis, he steered India through that economic slowdown. And in fact, even the West was looking to India for tips as to how Dr. Manmohan Singh has been handling the economy. So he's the one who really has a global reputation. We of course saw the bonhomie between him and George Bush during the nuclear deal. Again, it was because of his own reputation. Personal stake matters also in some. I know, of course, relationships between countries are institutional, but the personality of the prime minister also matters. Like something Prime Minister Modi takes advantage of. Dr. Manmohan Singh's personality also is what put Dr. George Bush the faith to go ahead and sign the nuclear deal with India. So he's been also underestimated as a politician. He's been called maybe a good economist but a bad politician. But I'd say he is a great politician also. He steered and stayed in office for 10 years, a non-Gandhi prime minister, the third Congress prime minister after Nehru and Jawaharlal Indira Gandhi to stay in office for 10 years. It's not a mean achievement. He walked the fine rope of politics without any support. Sonia Gandhi gave him support where it suited her. It was an issue-based support. When it came to welfare economics, she and her National Advisory Council literally ran the government. So without that, he managed without a political base, mass base. He was a Rajya Sabha member. He lost the only Lok Sabha election. He lost. He stayed in office for 10 years. That is amazing. So I'd say he's a great politician as well as a great economist.
Well, in fact, as a great politician, he was also a great economist as well. And that is what, in fact, a lot of people paying their respects and remembering his contributions are also saying, and in fact, making a very, taking a note of the emphasis on the behavior and the decency in which he had led the government, in the demeanor in which he, in fact, always used to be in, and the behavior that most of the people are now recalling. Now joining me live is also Joyita Basu, the Sunday Guardian editor at this point of time. Very good morning. How are, in fact, your early memories of the government that was headed by late former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh? And Dr. Singh is also remarkably noted for the kind of behavior that he always used to uphold, even in the time of distress or during global recession, Ms. Basu.
Well, you see, I mean, since he's dead, we can only speak good of him. But the fact of the matter is that, you see, when we give complete credit to Manmohan Singh about the liberalization, perhaps it is not fair to another prime minister, another late prime minister, who is actually perhaps the architect of the liberalization. I'm talking about Narasimha Rao. Okay, and it was Narasimha Rao was the, I would say, epitome of that, when we are talking about politician, the actual courage. Manmohan Singh did it, but Manmohan Singh could not have done it without Narasimha Rao. And I think that is one prime minister who has not been given his due at all. So yes, we have to put it in context. But yes, what Manmohan Singh did was very, opened up the liberalization and everything for India. And yes, he did chart India through some very tough economic times. But when the nuclear deal was definitely a feather on his cap. Having said that, where is the nuclear deal now? What has happened after that? The Congress did not pursue it. This government has not pursued it. So the nuclear deal is as good as dead. Okay. So what is the point when we are going to discuss someone's legacy? What is the point of talking about it if there is nothing left of it? Okay. And the thing is, you see, and that is one area I think success in both governments, his own government and the current government also. They should have all picked it up, but nothing, zero, nothing has happened in that area. Okay. So we have to, and the other problem, I'm telling you, okay, fine. He was a great politician, no doubt about it. But many of us, since you asked about my personal thoughts and feelings, many of us had a serious problem about what Priya talked about. The government was being run by Sonia Gandhi and the NSC. So why have a prime minister? So the constant charge against him was that he was a mukhota, that he was a puppet, he was a mask. Staying in power for 10 years, yes, it shows that the man was a great politician. He knew the people who should be, kept happy. But was it good for the country? When we are looking back at the decade, why is it that the 2004 to 2014 is known as the lost decade? Why is it that almost nothing happened in those decades? Why is it that India's economy went almost nowhere? He's a great man. I'm certain he was a great man. Yes, even if I give him full credit for liberalization without bringing Narasimha Rao in, I would say he could have been a proper prime minister instead of being run by a family.